Hello and hi everyone. I'm Gabi Awad. I'm your host for today's show, Buying Customers. Some know me as the coach on wheels because I have a YouTube channel where I coach while riding on my motorcycle. Check it out, hit that subscribe button, and click the bell for notifications. As a business and executive coach, I help business owners, leaders, and team grow. And I achieve this by education and business education, coaching, mentoring, and business advising. My mission is to help businesses and leaders grow. By the way, we would love to hear from you in real time during our show. If you are listening live or listening to one of our recordings or podcasts, you can always connect and interact with us on social media or by using the IBGR app for Android and iOS. Just search IBGR on Android Play or Apple Store, and then you can listen to current programming, on-demand podcasts, read the show notes, stay current on IBGR news, and connect with us on it. You can take IBGR with you wherever you go. Now, if this is your first time listening, welcome. And if you are a returning listener, welcome back. You can also watch the live broadcast. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. In this Buying Customers episode 6 of season 4, we are going to talk about personal branding. You are the brand. You can reach our website at IBGR Network and download the show notes where we are going to share, like always, an action plan at the end for you to implement immediately in your business. In the information age, personal branding is necessary for the success of any company or individual. Taking control of your public image is no longer an option. Identifying and using the tools that affect your personal brand correctly will ensure that the public sees the image that you want them to see in you. A positive brand is necessary for success. At the end of this episode, you should be able to define and master your image, understand how to sharpen your brand, use social media for your brand's advantage, and develop a professional appearance. How to define ourselves? This is the $1 million question. You are in control of your personal brand if you choose to be. When establishing your brand, it is essential that you define yourself. Remember that your followers' perception is your reality. So it is essential that you carefully cultivate your image as you go. When you take the time to define yourself first, then present this definition to the public, you will gain the benefits that come with taking control of your personal brand. So you are in control of your personal brand if you choose to be. If you don't, they will. Your audience will. So it is easy to underestimate the importance of personal branding and avoid actively improving your brand. The truth, however, is that branding occurs whether you participate in it or not. If you do not take the time to brand yourself, the market will brand you, and it may not be in your favor. Customers can bring negative attention to a business or a company or an individual, and attention can easily escalate to the court of public opinion. For example, watch the video on YouTube, United Breaks Guitars. Search for United Breaks Guitars. This brought negative attention to United Airlines brand, and it got till date more than 20 million views. So your audience is like a walking billboard when it comes to your brand, either in a positive way or in a negative way. And without personal branding and active intervention, the damage of the brand name could have been beyond repair for United Airlines. Taking control of personal branding is necessary in these days to manage your public reputation, because everyone is a walking broadcasting machine using your mobile phones. Now, brand mantras or USP or UVP, unique selling proposition or unique value proposition in short, these are powerful things if you take the time to invest in researching your mantras or your uniqueness. This is like a short phrase or statement. It could be only 3 to 5 words, but these words define your brand. A mantra must explore the brand's points of difference or how the brand is unique along with what you or the company or your small practice represents. For example, take a look at Nike's authentic athletic performance mantra or Nespresso who else mantra. In order to create a brand mantra, you must first identify what sets your brand apart from the competition and list your points of difference. So what specific characteristics make you different from all the competition? It's a difficult question for most businesses, and for my clients, we work on the USP or the points of difference for like a couple of sessions until we either find that uniqueness or we don't. But it's a difficult question for most people also to answer it. But answering it, you must, and your ultimate success will depend on it. Don't try to be better, try to be different. A USP is all about discovering or inventing your special, unique story and then broadcasting it to your audience or target market. They need to know what's different about you, about your practice, about the way you do business, about if you are a public figure or a politician or if you are an actor, you have this responsibility to know your uniqueness and to brand it to the public. Our customers, clients, prospects, leads will always compare our products and services to those of our competition because they need solid, compelling reasons to justify their buying decisions. Why do I need to buy from this person or this business and not the other one? What's different about them? What's unique about them? Therefore, in order to keep your existing customers and obtain new ones, you must ensure you are providing these compelling reasons to them. I like the saying, do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead to where there is no path and leave a trail. A USP, therefore, must be specific, simple, easy to communicate, and easy for your audience to understand and to grasp. A USP must appeal to enough prospects. It should address your clients' fears, frustrations, needs, desires. A USP must be relevant to your marketplace and have a perceived value in it. A USP ideally has no equivalent substitutes and is difficult to imitate. And if they imitate you, it's a ripoff. A USP should capitalize on the weaknesses of your competition or a void in the market that you are filling. A USP may be articulated in a single word or phrase or paragraph even, or it may be communicated by the general appearance of a business or by the beliefs of your employees or by the way business is conducted, the way you do business, your operating model. A USP may be also an appealing promise, a unique feature or a special service that you have. However, it must be realistic and consistently deliverable. So the entire USP concept comes from the core belief that to succeed in business, to rise above the competition, above mediocrity, we need to develop new and clever ideas to differentiate ourselves from others. Let's take a look at 4 innovative strategies for doing just that. Strategy number 1 for uniqueness is to step outside the box. Most of us run our business today in the same way that we always have. And in many cases, we run our businesses in the same way also our competition has always had. That's because many of us live within our comfort zone, in a box. So I ask you to get outside of the box. We go to work and we carry out the same routine tasks day in and day out, often without taking the time out to think about what we are doing and why we are doing this. It's a perfect recipe for mediocrity. To rise above mediocrity, above your competition, I believe it helps to look back from a different angle with a new perspective and hopefully a detached point of view. So question your status quo. We need to question everything we do, and you can do this using the following 3 questions. From my customer's point of view, what is the single most annoying, inconvenient aspect of my business that they have to endure? And what could I do to change this? Second question, how could I do what I do now, but in a way which is different to the way everyone else is doing it? Run this question over very elements of your business, very aspects. And the third question is, what is impossible within my business or industry, but if I could, it could be done, would have a dramatic positive impact or effect on my business? By seeking answers to these three simple questions, we increase our chance of uncovering hidden opportunities and greatly increase the likelihood of discovering the single bold stroke that could position us, head and shoulders above the rest. Edward de Bono said, think sideways. Strategy number two is to anticipate change. There's nothing more certain in life than change, and so it is bound to happen. It is with our customers' needs also. We owe it to ourselves and to our customers to anticipate their future needs and to begin, maneuvering ourselves into right position for when the change happens. The new normal, for example, in today's world, like the COVID pandemic, has proved just that. We have a new normal way of doing business, and we have to adapt. Research what is changing, what's the new normal. If we are planning the future directions of our business and our future is to be based on uniqueness, we need to obtain as much information as possible. So, research, demographics, behavioral changes, products and services, psychographics to do just that, and study and track the trends. For example, the general aging of a population, the health and fitness phenomena, environmental issues, business globalizations, and stuff like that. Now we're going to take a short 2 minutes break, and when we return, we will continue discussing you or the brand or you as a brand. We are back, and you're listening to IBGR Network. I'm your host, business and executive coach, Gabi Awad. In this episode of our Buying Customers Journey, we are discussing you are the brand, and your brand is and your uniqueness go a long way in achieving your brand goals. So you can go to our website at ibgr.network and download this show notes. Before the break, we talked about the different types of USPs and how to innovate a new one for you or your business. How to make the most of your new USP. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, our USP or combination of USPs is the reason why our customers choose our product or service. This is being the case, and why we must, communicate our special story broadly to them. And you need to do that in a quick manner and a consistent manner for as long as you are in business or you are in the entertainment world or the political world, but you need to start today. So consider every piece of brand stationery or digital brand asset that you have and use your brand on it. Every method of current and future marketing, whether digital or traditional, at every step in your selling process, including the after sales processes, on your products, on, in, and around your premises, if you have premises, and during your verbal communication with your customers. Leave no chance but to mention your uniqueness across all marketing channels and sales channels. Look at your competition and list your three biggest competitors. Ask yourself, what do they do well? What do they do poorly? What is unique about them? What guarantees do they have in place? How genuine are these guarantees? What can they do that you can't? What is the one thing that if you could guarantee, it would make you the market leader? What your clients hate about your industry or your specific business? Is it waiting time? Is it quality? Is it the ease of service? What? These are the key questions that you should ask yourself first. Of course, we will be providing you with a full action plan at the end. And if you would like to have me sending you a USP and guarantee questionnaire, it's a 9 pages questionnaire that will help you come up with a strong uniqueness. Just drop me an email to Gabi Awad, GABY AWAD at actioncoach.com. And I will be more than happy to share this with you. Now, let's get back to you are the brand. After coming up with a strong USP, you need to use that in your brand awareness activities. See, in order to define yourself, you need to know yourself. Identifying your core values, your passions, and your strength will help you realize what you need to communicate in your brand. Once you understand what you have to offer, it will be possible to create a brand image that is both honest and positive. Defining yourself will allow others to see you clearly. In branding, your pillars, let me call them pillars, are your main values. They are the attributes that help define your identity. Ask yourself what you stand for and what your core values are. Build a practice or a business around your core values. So your pillars are not what you have to offer. They explain how you offer what you have. For example, you may offer years of sales experience, but your pillar could be offering an honest and authentic sales advice. This is a value or a pillar. There are no correct or incorrect pillar. Pillars, they simply need to be redirected to your core values. Ask yourself what you stand for and make a list of ideas. Then choose the main values and link them to what your brand has to offer. It is best to begin branding with 1 or 2 pillars only. You can always expand this in the future. Your brand should reflect your passions also. What do you care about? What drives you? What wakes you up in the morning? List all of your passions, not just the ones that are obviously related to work. If the only passion you communicate is the desire to increase sales, you appear boring and work obsessed. People know that there is more to you than your work. Your brand needs to be personalized. A passion for art or family passion or sports, humanitarian causes, or the environment could only contribute to your brand. You are bound to attract people with similar passions. Branding requires you to identify your strength, and it is easy to overlook your personal strength by focusing on the desired business attributes. Making this mistake can be disastrous and will keep you from realizing a connection with your customers. Remember the saying, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So to know you, to know your values, they have to like you, they have to like your values before they do business with you. So consider your natural talents when finding your personal strength. What comes easily to you? What do you do better than other people? Also consider aspects of your character that are, natural strength. For example, trustworthiness or intelligence. Those are strengths that define you and your brand. When establishing your brand, you must remember the 3 C's: clarity, consistency, and constancy. Whether you are creating a personal or business brand, you will find the 3 C's extremely useful. Clarity is what? Your brand needs to be clear about what you do and do not do or represent. Are you a risk taker or do you represent stability? Are you a creative person or individual or analytical person? If there is any ambiguity in your branding, you will confuse people and cause disappointment. Consistency. Once you have clearly established your brand identity, it is important that you remain consistent with it. Consistency requires that you present yourself in the same way each time, every time you communicate your brand. This consistency needs to be in your stated values and made visible in your actions. Don't say or don't tell, just act. And constancy, is reliability, meaning that it is visibly dependable. To define your brand, you have to commit to it. I had the opportunity to work with an executive coach, helping me, or helping her actually, improving her coaching practice. When we reached a place we needed to boost her as, she is the brand, I asked her to find all her strengths and list them for me to discuss in the next session. The exercise was tough on her, and this is what she shared with me at the end of it. She confessed that every time she thought of a strength, she thought again and decided that it is really, she didn't have it as a strength. Nothing that she considered a strength was related to her, role as a coach. Additionally, she thought about all of the traits that successful coaches had, and she lacked. And by the end of the exercise, she was convinced that she had no strength. So she lied on the answers. She lied to herself by choosing strength that she would like to have rather than the ones that she actually possessed. You have to know your strength and your weaknesses, and you have to develop your strength first. Remember that your brand needs to be authentic, relevant to you, clear, consistent, and you need to be committed to it. By following the rules of the 3 C's, you will be able to control and develop your brand and your image. Once you commit to the 3 C's, it will be easier to continue developing your brand. There should be no ambiguity or vague qualities in your brand. Clarity in your brand will allow people to understand what you do and do not represent. So failure to be clear about your brand is destructive to you. Your brand creates expectations to people, and they will be disappointed if your brand hints at promises that you cannot fulfill or you will not fulfill. My premise in business coaching, for example, is I coach for profit. This is my mantra. I find you the money, or at least my coaching fee is guaranteed. If I fail on delivering this promise, then I am doing harm to my brand. I have to find the money to cover my fees. Additionally, people will be more likely to embrace your brand if they fully understand what your brand is. For example, Starbucks built its brand on the promise of the away from home, or the home away from home, where people can relax. There is no confusion in this idea or what it represents. If you say that you are going to do something, you need to do it. Walk the talk. Every exposure to your brand needs to be the same as the last one. Online encounters, face-to-face interactions, and every other way that you connect with people must reflect the brand that you have set forward. If your brand promises one thing online, but physical encounter does not measure up to that image, your brand will suffer. It is important to choose your branding elements also wisely before you make it public. Frequent rebranding can make you appear indecisive. Once you have created your brand, you must make every effort to be consistent in its execution. But consistency takes commitment. You need to make sure that you are faithful and dependable in the execution of your brand's promise. This requires cooperation of everyone who executes your brand digitally or online. So if a company promises excellent service but do not deliver on that promise, the brand will suffer. Committing to your brand requires also you to take action every day. It falls in line with consistency and constancy, as you have already learned. Every interaction with your brand needs to build a sense of dependability. You have to commit to it. How you execute day in and day out will depend on your brand elements and your customers. So we are going to take another short 2 minutes break, and when we get back, we will continue with the elements of the brand, and you are the brand. We are back, and you are listening to IBGR Network. I am your host, business and executive coach Gabi Awad. And in this episode of Buying Customers, we are talking about brand identity and awareness. You can go to our website at ibgr.network and download the show notes. Promoting your social media sites takes time and effort. There are many ways that you can increase the visibility of your brand using social media. The first step is to create the same message and theme throughout all of your social media sites. Your Twitter and your Facebook should shouldn't share conflicting information. They should promote each other. Certain tools allow you to link the same posts to multiple sites. They should also, your posts have similar look, color, scheme, and feel to them. And you need to drive awareness of your brand by attracting people to you. The more connections you make, the more exposure you have. Additionally, SEO also can be implemented to improve your visibility. Find useful search terms and integrate them into your content to increase your search rankings. Running an SEO campaign is more complex than this, but choosing useful keywords is an excellent starting point. Social media influence is undeniable, but it needs to be managed correctly. Our online presence is a direct reflection of our brand. By learning to use the social media platforms to our brand's advantage, we will be able to increase the presence of our brand and our social network. It simply takes time and effort and commitment and consistency, but you can do it. Social media may seem like a way of life, but it really is a tool. Don't get addicted to it. Like any other tool, there is a learning curve to it, and in order to use it effectively, you need to practice. So experiment with different styles. Don't be afraid to do that. Different styles of communication in social media until you find the one that best reflects your brand. And while you do this, get feedback from your friends, from your people, co-workers, and improve with their comments, with their shares, with their mentions. Some quick wins while using social media is to raise your brand recognition. To do that, you have to clearly establish what you want to communicate, those objectives. And then use attention-grabbing words, use stories to engage people, and encourage readers to take action every time you post something. Now, content is king. It is not enough to simply create any lame content. You have to make sure that it's a good thing, it's a good piece of content. Your content needs to have a clear point that is relevant to your brand. Once you find a relevant topic, you have to communicate also your opinion as well. But you have to be also relevant. So stay informed on the latest trends that affect your brand, your industry. Writing about an old story is not likely to engage your audience. Use variety, use both written and video content. Uh, Posts, go live, do videos, short video contents, do write-ups. Not everyone is skilled at writing, so you can communicate well, but make sure that your written content is well written and factual, no fake news. So make sure also videos are edited properly if you are going to choose to go video with good sound quality and good lighting. Invest in good lighting and in good microphone. If you ignore people on social media also, you are damaging your brand. It is essential that you address every comment, whether positive or negative, that comes across. Positive mentions are easy to address. You thank them for taking the time to provide you with feedback, but not everyone takes the time to do this. When handling negative mentions, however, or comments, you need to begin by addressing misinformation. You should also apologize if you are wrong. Addressing online mentions will connect you with your audience and improve your brand's reputation. So, to recap, today's show, we talked about controlling of your public image, and this is no longer an option, we said, and identifying and using the tools that affect personal branding correctly will ensure that the public sees the image that you want them to see. A positive and authentic brand is necessary for your success. Today, we also discussed how to define and master your image, how to sharpen your brand, how to develop a professional appearance, and how to use social media to your brand's advantage. If you want to invest more in your brand recognition, consider enrolling in my course on goodsession.me, where I help you build an authentic brand image. Let's put it all into an action plan. So, to implement or to sharpen or to start with your brand recognition plan, step one would be to start by finding your uniqueness, your unique selling proposition or unique value proposition, your mantra. So ask yourself the hard questions and come up with the true unique traits or a hybrid or a mix of USPs that you can put together to strengthen this mantra. Those could be true USPs or perceived USPs. List your three biggest competitors again and ask yourself, what do they do well? What do they do poorly? What is unique about them? What guarantees do they have in place? How genuine are these guarantees? What are they, can they do and you can't? What is the one thing that if you could guarantee, it would make you the market leader? What your clients hate about you, your business, your industry? Is it the waiting time? Is it quality? Is it ease of service? What? Start there. And if you would like to have me sending you a USP and guarantee questionnaire, again, that will help you come up with a strong uniqueness, just drop me an email and I will be more than happy to share that with you. All my coordinates are on the show notes if you can download them from ibgr.network. Once your USP/guarantee is clear in your mind, tell everyone about it. So list the marketing and sales tools and strategies and platforms, printouts, media that you will develop to communicate your brand across. Step two of the action plan, now that you know your uniqueness and you know where you're gonna promote that uniqueness, step two would be give your brand a personality and list physical and digital places where you will contribute to your brand positioning. When you market your products and services with personality, you can help boost your brand awareness because your brand will shine right through. Sure, your consumers, your clients, your followers will take note of the pants or the pasta you're marketing, but they'll also experience your personality through your advertising. So step two would be mix your personality with your brand. Step three, put a default calendar for communicating your brand. Have a weekly calendar set for what and when you are going to communicate with your audience and when you are going to communicate your brand identity across. Consider the best timing for online engagements. List the things you are going to do, the blog topics that you are going to publish on Mondays, the social media posts that you are going to push through on Tuesdays, the newsletters that you are going to develop once a week or once a month, the videos that you are going to do, the scripts for those videos, the live events that you would like to have, etc. So this calendar should be clear as to who will be doing what and when to promote your brand. Once done and to your liking, commit to it. Simple. Step four, again, content is king. So you have to invest time and probably money in copywriting to create valuable and free content. Nowadays, creating content is easier than ever, which is a good thing because today's consumers turn the internet for any and all concerns and questions and do-it-yourself projects. So content doesn't have to be written. Also, you can create videos, infographics, podcasts, and more. If your brand isn't creating content, you might be missing out on some major brand awareness opportunities. Content provides an amazing way to authentically connect with your audience while getting your brand name in front of people who would say yes to you, who will buy from you. Step five of the action plan would be testing and measuring your brand awareness campaigns? How do you know if your brand awareness efforts have been working or not? How do you know if you need to change direction? Are you the top of the competition now yet or not? Are you fixing something, a crisis, or you know, you know, things like any other metric that we discussed in previous episodes? You have to measure success. If you don't know the score, you will not be able to improve that score. But brand awareness can be measured in the traditional sense. Yeah, you can still review activities and metrics that will help you gauge where your brand stands in terms of popularity and consumer awareness. Consider researching both the quantitative and the qualitative awareness metrics, like website traffic numbers, visit traffic numbers, social engagements like the increasing number of your followers, the likes that you are receiving, the retweets that you are having, the number of comments, and more. Social listening also, like organic mentions and engagements. Who's tagging your brand, mentioning it in comments, or using your hashtags in their posts? And running brand awareness surveys also can help in measuring your brand recognition. This process involves getting direct feedback from your brand followers. And these quantitative and qualitative metrics will help you understand your brand awareness among your audience and the general public. It will never be a perfect number, but keeping your pulse on this measure will help you, stay connected to your audience. Tom Peters said, all of us need to understand the importance of branding. We are CEOs of our own companies, Me Inc. To be in business today, your most important job is to be head of marketing for your brand called you. That's been great. Next week, we'll be talking about managing sales teams, how to lead, manage, communicate, and motivate high and low performers in your sales team. Try not to miss it. If you do, you can always listen to the podcasts. Thank you very much. You have been listening to Buying Customers, and today we talked about You Are the Brand. Be safe, wear a mask, be responsible. I am Gabi Awad, and we will talk with you next time. Thank you for listening.